like me. They don't, do they? It's basically this being a UKIP rally, so just being here. Well done. Yay, amazing. So on that note, does anybody here have any racist parents? Just me. Okay, fine. So yeah, no, my mother is a racist, and my father is a racist. Which, like, what's particularly problematic about that is my mum's white Irish, my dad's black Mauritian, which means that they hate each other, but they also definitely hate me. Yeah, so that's very awkward. But I'm gonna focus on my mother because my dad fucked off when I was 4. Don't worry, we still speak when he answers my calls. Yeah, so my mum is my work in progress student. So looking at her particularly, she came over here, she met my dad, and they met in a no dogs, no blacks, no Irish sort of, time of life. And why they didn't just get a poodle and not have me. But anyway, so my mother is massive racist. But when I say she's massive racist, so my parents are immigrants, and they came over in that time where basically they felt so unwelcomed, and they didn't have any need to be here, and were like, well, no one wants us to be here, what are we going to do? And they threw everything into being an immigrant and everything into sort of being compliant almost, living in the UK. So their message was to stop speaking your home language. So my mum's first language is Irish, as is mine. My dad's is French. And unlike Fiona, I actually did learn Gaelic and Irish dance. Which is, I know what you're thinking when you look at me. Of course, she's going to do river dance. That's yeah. So there is very much that they were just meant to abandon, everything that they knew, and they did it. So that my siblings and I, one of them is in the crowd. You won't know who she is because she does not look like me because my face is slag. So basically, they absolutely, we must get on and we must throw ourselves into education, and we did all of that, and you can only imagine my parents' pride that I am fucking about here on a Sunday. They made that journey over here. But yeah, and absolutely they did, and they did the shit jobs. They met in McDonald's on Seven Sisters Road. My dad was the manager, my mum was not the manager. But yeah, so a weird sort of sex harassment at work thing. We'll come back to that. That's going to come later in my. Please come to my room tour. So anyway, so that was that, and then so it's very much like that. That was it, and so it feels like they feel like they're the best immigrants, which is such a shitty place to be. That they're almost defensive of a country that never really let them be here. They're now the stop the boats people. I've got this weird thing of you people. They are very much, they don't necessarily love the UK, but they're so, compliant into being here. So my sister and I, again, where's Wally? Try my parents. We really tried with our mother, to try and make her, to appeal to her sort of some lobe in her brain to sort of make her understand that actually being part of the EU and having freedom of movement was, so this was as part of the EU referendum. We saw that as a really good way of making her appreciative of our version of it. So we get it, you don't get it, but this is what it means to us. So she's never voted before. And it was you've got grandchildren, you've got your own children, and this is incredibly important to us in terms of our careers, in terms of our industries, and also you had freedom of movement. This should be something that you care about. And I genuinely didn't think that anything would come of it. But on the day of the EU referendum, I got a message on WhatsApp from my mum, and it was just her holding her little ballot card outside the polling centre, and I was just like, oh my God, she's done it. And she just said, I voted. I was so proud of her. And but it wasn't just that I was proud of her, it made me feel really emotional because it made me feel like even the most stupid person is never going to change. Oh my God, this is maybe there's, you know, like Hope, like all these like idiots that are like, you know, like we're all surrounded by, can learn. It's just like stupid people are just missing education, right? So that's just what people are. Like, I know the most stupid person, and she's voted. This is incredible. And I texted her back and I said, Mum, I'm so proud of you. This is incredible. And she went, hopefully we'll leave the EU soon. So basically, my sister and I, again, look around, we are now in the non-enviable position of trying to stop a woman voting. So the local election coming up is in May. If you see Irish women about this big screaming stop the votes, but also only speaking Gaelic is our mother, please let me know, I've got a home, one eye's waiting for her. So yeah. That's my mother, my father, my bit about me. So I'm in my 40s. I know you're like black don't crack. 2 kids. I am very much single and available, and I'm out there. I am openly lesbian. Woo! I'm not, but nobody fucking claps when you say you're straight. That means a lot to me. Absolutely. Can't bother. Not for me. Yeah, I'm straight, and maybe that's the issue. But yeah, so I am straight on the apps. The apps are like. It's a cesspit, right? Like it's the dregs of society. Everyone thinks that, but if you're in my position, you're really getting the absolute like end of the earth in terms of like, people on there. So it's three types of people, right? When you're in my position, so you've got the guys where it's they've never had a relationship, and it's like, well, that's fine if you're a bit younger. Like it's okay to have not had a relationship, but when you get like 40s, mid 40s. And I'm okay. So just to be clear, my dating like filters are not carrying a phone in one of those like weird holders with all the cards in there. Because that's insane. That's every way of getting home fucked. Right? That's it. And also trainer socks, visible trainer socks. Commit. Either take your socks off, or wear socks, or have hidden trainer socks. Visible trainer socks are a red flag. Don't do it. Anyway, so yeah, I've got the like most open in terms of like I am trying to be more open-minded, but yeah. So we've got the or I've basically got the guys that are. It's difficult. Okay, so there's some of you right here. I can't see. I'm just trying to work out. I'm just not trying to alienate anybody or like maybe like you're okay. I know you just haven't. I don't know. But anyway, so we've got the guys that are very much like it's everyone else's fault, right? So it's like, oh, you know, they didn't understand me or they didn't get me, and they normally tend to be like sort of like anti everything. So it's like train drivers are paid too much, or like, oh, have you heard about this? And it's like, I hate you because like you hate everybody. That's like fair enough. But as you're there, you're thinking, not only am I going to block you when I leave, obviously, I'm going to be fodder for your next chat. Like this bitch last week, you know, she came out, she had a lip gloss on, she shaved her legs. Didn't happen. Anyway, and then we've got the next type of guy, which is the has never had a relationship. And if that's in your early 20s, that's completely fine, because why would you? You know, it's totally fine to have not had a relationship at any point. But when you're like 20 years on, 25 years on, like you expect some history, right? Like I'm not expecting to meet somebody who's happily married. Ideally, I'm not meeting somebody who's happily married. Like, that's not good. I have met those guys. They're lovely, but you know, it's short term. But yeah, no, it's like to have no relationship history is like really awkward. And I've got friends, my happily married friends, who are living vicariously through me, and they are like very much like, how did it go? What's happening? And I'm like, you know, I met this guy, and like it's just a bit weird because he's never met anybody before, and I'm not really sure like how that works for me. And they're like, no, Courtney, you know, you need to be more open-minded, and like some people have like like limited social access, or they might be a bit shy, or something's gone wrong, and I'm like, dude, I am not fucking an incel. Like, just to be clear, that's not happening. And then there's the third type of guy, and they are the ones that have had, you know, relationship history. They've been married, they might have had kids, and that's fine. I've got kids, it's absolutely fine to have kids. Well, it's not, because having kids is like fucking like insane. Anyway, those people that have got that history, but it's that's absolutely fine. But they come with that, right? They come with that energy of, she won't let me see the kids, and you're like, what's going on? And that dominates the conversation throughout the whole thing, where it's just like, you know, I hate her, and she's a bitch, and she's insane, and it's all, you know, all of this like crap. And all I can think is, like, my mum and dad, right, they split up when I was 4, and obviously because they are racist and they hate brown people, and white people, everyone in between. But yeah, I'm sat there and I'm thinking, like, my dad used to wash my hair with fairy liquid, and my mother never stopped my dad seeing us. I'm like, what the fuck have you done? Let your wife or let you see the kids. So yeah, it's an absolute like smorgasbord of fucking chaos. So yeah, that's not happening at all in terms of that. So it's So my job outside of this is shock. I'm not a professional comedian. I worked in the sort of like broadcasting, like content making, like industry, radio, TV, film, you name it. And a big thing for me is the fact that I have worked in an industry which has not been kind to young girls, right? So the Me Too movement, showing that men, not all men, but it's always men, have you know, abused their power and like taken women who didn't know better to you know, basically shit times. I'm not an Nepo baby. You've heard about the McDonald's leftover burgers. But yeah, so yeah, I've fought my way in and I've managed to stay there. And yeah, no, I was a vulnerable girl who didn't have anybody looking after me. Nobody like checking if I was okay. And yeah, no, I was very lucky to like sort of get beyond that. And I've worked with some arseholes, like it's not, I hope it's being filmed, but I've worked with some sort of like actual people who've been arrested. So this will age some people very soon in the crowd. So I've worked with John Leslie, the OG of the Me Too UK movement. Woohoo! Yeah. So he was the first guy. I worked with him. I worked with Tim Westwood, again, another arsehole who probably should be employed, let alone be, you know, in a position of attacking women. Russell Brand, God love Russell Brand. Like, he is still keeping me relevant, if nothing else. Multiple serial sexual predator. I've even worked with Sarah Ferguson, who is not a rapist, but God love her, could she get hold of 5 at any one time. But yeah, I mean, the big thing for me is that as a very vulnerable person, none of them touched me. Not one of them cupped a bum, tried to get me into their hotel room. And yeah, no, it's very upsetting for me. So I'm left with the, I'm not Me Too, but I'm #why not.